What's something you can't ever forgive but completely understand? The hushed elegance of Finch & Co. usually calmed me. Sunlight filtered through ancient leaded windows, illuminated bolts of Italian silk and bespoke mannequins, each draped in sartorial perfection. Today, however, my heart was a frantic drum against my ribs. Laura Vance, a hopeful fashion intern, had just been informed that my design concept for the prestigious Young Couturier Award had been shortlisted. My ticket out of internships, my entry into the hallowed halls of London's high fashion. I wanted to scream with joy, but the unspoken rules of this esteemed establishment dictated a quiet, dignified elation. Across the workroom, sketching intently, was Chloe Davies, another intern. Chloe was a whirlwind of vibrant creativity, her sketches often overflowing with raw, untamed brilliance, but her background, a stark contrast to the refined world of bespoke tailoring, sometimes made her seem an outlier here. She'd shown me her own entry for the Couturier Award weeks ago, a stunning, unconventional deconstruction of a classic trenchcoat. It was undeniably genius, far more innovative than my own more conservative submission. Yet, she hadn't made the shortlist. I felt a pang of guilt, a fleeting thought that perhaps the judges, with their traditional tastes, simply hadn't understood her vision. "Congratulations, Alara," Chloe said, her voice surprisingly calm as she looked up. A faint, almost imperceptible flicker crossed her eyes. Was it disappointment or something else? I brushed it off. We were competitors, after all. Over the next few weeks, I poured myself into perfecting my shortlisted design. Ms. Sterling, a senior designer at Finch & Co., and my direct supervisor, was unusually invested. She'd given me feedback that felt more like a complete overhaul, suggesting changes that transformed my initial concept into something strikingly similar to Chloe's rejected entry. At the time, I rationalized it as a stroke of genius on Ms. Sterling's part, a way to elevate my design to award-winning potential. She praised my adaptability, my willingness to learn, reinforcing the narrative that I was simply a talented, fortunate intern on the cusp of greatness. Then came the email. The live judging event for the Young Couturier Award was set to take place at Finch & Co. itself, attended by industry titans, press, and Mr. Alistair Finch himself, the venerable owner. The stakes were impossibly high. The day of the event was a blur of nervous energy. The main showroom of Finch & Co. had been transformed into a runway, bathed in spotlights. My design, meticulously crafted by the atelier's seamstresses, stood on a mannequin, ready for its moment. I saw Chloe in the crowd, a quiet presence by the back wall, observing. Our eyes met, and this time, there was no mistaking the raw hurt in hers. The judging began. My turn came. As I stood beside my design, ready to articulate my vision, the sense of unease washed over me. The lines, the unexpected folds, the subtle rebellion in the silhouette. It was all Chloe. The more I spoke, the more I felt like an imposter. Just as I finished, Mr. Alistair Finch, a man known for his sharp eye and even sharper wit, cleared his throat. "Ms. Vance," he began, his gaze piercing, "this design is bold, innovative, dare I say, quite familiar." My blood ran cold. He turned to Ms. Sterling, a subtle arch to his brow. "Ms. Sterling, perhaps you can enlighten us. Wasn't there another submission, earlier in the process, that bore a striking resemblance to this very piece?" Ms. Sterling's face, usually composed, paled slightly. "Mr. Finch, I assure you, all designs are original works by our interns." Her voice was a little too high. That's when Detective Inspector Anya Sharma, who had been quietly observing from the side, stepped forward. She carried a slim folder. "Excuse me, Mr. Finch. I believe I have some information that might be pertinent to this discussion." A ripple went through the crowd. My heart hammered. Detective Sharma opened her folder, revealing a series of documents and screenshots. Several weeks ago, she announced, her voice clear and precise. Ms. Chloe Davies submitted a design for this very award. A design which, upon careful review, bears an almost identical signature to the piece currently on display. She held up a blown-up image of Chloe's original submission, side by side with a detailed photograph of my final design. The similarities were undeniable, shocking in their precision. A gasp went through the room. Chloe at the back had tears welling in her eyes, not of sadness, but a mix of shock and dawning realization. "This is an outrage," Ms. Sterling finally blurted, her composure crumbling. "Alara, tell them, this is your work." But the words caught in my throat. I looked at the evidence, at Chloe's devastated face, at Mr. Finch's stern gaze, and a horrifying truth clicked into place. Miss Sterling hadn't been guiding me. She'd been orchestrating a sophisticated act of plagiarism, using me as her unwitting pawn to steal Chloe's vision, likely believing an intern from a better background would be more palatable to the judges. "No," I whispered, my voice barely audible, but it carried in the stunned silence. "No, it's not. This was Chloe's." I turned to Chloe, tears stinging my own eyes. "Chloe, I am so incredibly sorry. I didn't know, I swear." Ms. Sterling lunged towards me, her face contorted. "You ungrateful girl. After everything I did for you." Detective Sharma stepped between us. "Miss Sterling, we have evidence of your digital tampering with both interns' submissions, and a clear pattern of preferential treatment, leading to what appears to be blatant intellectual property theft. We'll be needing you to come down to the station." Miss Sterling was led away, her furious protests echoing through the elegant hall. The room was a whirlwind of whispers and flashing cameras. Mr. Finch, after a moment of quiet contemplation, walked over to Chloe. He looked at her design on the screen, then at her, a profound respect in his eyes. "Chloe Davies," he said, his voice ringing with authority, "your vision is extraordinary. It seems Finch & Co. has much to learn from the new guard." He then turned to the audience. "Tonight, we witnessed not just the future of fashion, but the unwavering spirit of true talent. The Young Couturier Award, this year, goes to Ms. Chloe Davies." The applause was deafening, a wave of vindication and admiration washing over Chloe. She was no longer the overlooked intern. She was the celebrated artist. I watched, a complex mix of emotions churning within me. I was humiliated, ashamed, and devastated by my own naivete. But more than that, I understood Chloe's silent suffering, the quiet despair of seeing her art exploited, her talent dismissed by a system that favored pedigree over true genius. I understood why she couldn't forgive, why this betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss. Later, Chloe and I spoke. "I saw your design change, Alara," she confessed, her voice thick with emotion. "I knew it was mine. I knew it, but who would believe me? They always see what they want to see." They thought my silence was weakness. It was just me gathering the threads. I replied, a new resolve hardening my voice. "You can steal a design, but you can never steal the vision." My own path in fashion was now uncertain. My name was linked, however innocently, to a scandal. But watching Chloe finally recognized, finally celebrated, I knew one thing: some betrayals don't just break trust, they unravel who you thought you were, and sometimes, in that unraveling, you find the courage to fight for something far greater than yourself. My credit was fine, but the damage was deeper. The theft of innocence, of belief in fairness, that's something you can't ever forgive. But, standing there, watching Chloe shine, I finally, completely, understood. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to smash that thumbs up and hit subscribe for more unforgettable, emotional, and viral true stories. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us, where in the world are you watching from?